I just really love romance, and I love it as an audience member, and I love it in my real life, and I just really believe in romance.
This text from Blake Lively is insane. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. What?
It's a crazy text.
What are you insinuating? Is that a...
How we doing? Hey. Beautiful. Where's my wife? Where's your wife?
Prior to her marriage to Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's love had a pattern. Life that appeared quite unattainable for her to take frequent breaks, she discovered. She has a history of falling for her co-stars. This opportunely enabled her to ascend the A-list ladder regardless of the project. Seemed to be developing romance all the time. Blake's backstage.
There have long been questions about the couple's compatibility. Some moviegoers even questioned the duo's chemistry as far back as 2011.
In spite of this, she asserted in an interview from 2011, which she had only ever had 4 partners when this statement was made. Once she had started dating Ryan, and she maintained she never received engaged in any relationship unless they were. It sounded like her boyfriend, officially. Not too complicated at the time, but when her relationships are carefully analyzed, things don't appear to be as simple as she presented them to be. Blake's initial well-known was in a relationship with Kelly Blatz. She met a fellow actor while working on. The two had an encounter in the movie Simon Says. Immediate communication, but not until they began dating in 2004. Even before the film's conclusion, Blake was filming at that time in her life, was still attempting to establish herself in Hollywood, aiming to establish a profession that would help her become known as Kelly, was also negotiating the unpredictability, the entertainment business, striving for his achievement.
We need you to direct us to the most righteous campsite, in the most remote spot, in the deepest, darkest part of the world.
Despite the difficulties that arise with youthful romance and the demands of Blake and Kelly appeared to be in Hollywood, committed to establishing their partnership. Their romance developed in silence, out of the spotlight, because none of they had not yet attained the status of celebrities that would make their private lives under continual observation. But in Blake, things started to change in 2005. Got her breakthrough part as Bridget in The Sisterhood of the Sisters, Veland. The movie Traveling Pants struck a chord with crowds and presented her with a substantially larger number of fans.
I feel like I have qualities about me like Bridget, just crazy and energetic and out there, but I still have the shy Lena in me. And so there's a little bit of each character that I definitely think that I embody as well as.
Yes, given her growing fame, her life drastically changed, and she was no longer only another would-be actress. She was now a well-known figure on the street, somebody whose name was mentioned in magazines, and a person whose profession was starting to really pick up steam, even considering the increased focus and rising pressures at work. She stayed dedicated to her partnership, Kelly, and the two kept dating for 3 more years of mutual support as they each worked towards their goals. Despite the fact that this relationship had a part in Blake's ascent to fame, remained mostly ignored by the general public. It was without a doubt the most intimate romance she had ever experienced, particularly in contrast to the often reported connections that followed, and Blake ultimately turned into among Hollywood's most well-known faces. Kelly decided to take an alternative route. Since their split, he has maintained a far lower profile, avoiding the media focus and preserving a degree of privacy, which is uncommon in the entertainment sector.
Hey, my name's Kelly Blatz. I'm from the new Disney XD show Aaron Stone, which is premiering this Friday, February 13th. So check it out. I hope you like it.
Kelly was never simply an actor that he was extremely passionate about music, and served as the lead for 6 years vocalist for the Los Angeles-based band Capra, that gained a devoted fan base for his. He was able to spend time with the band and examine a different aspect of his inventiveness. However, like to many musical ensembles, internal differences ultimately resulted in his departure. Rather than holding on to the spotlight, he turned his attention to various facets of narrative. Stepping behind the camera to direct, Kelly discovered a fresh way to express herself while he spent less time in front of crowds. As he was before, his work kept say for themselves, his professional path took a more secret direction behind the scenes. In stark contrast to Blake's ever-increasing visibility in Hollywood, although their lives took different paths, their initial romance is still somewhat well-known but significant section of Blake's gain notoriety, but as frequently occurs in things about young partnerships finally reached the end of their romance by 2007, had ended, and the timing aligned with a significant shift in Blake's career in the same year that she obtained the job that would characterize her early professional life. In Gossip Girl, Serena van der Woodsen plays the concert was an immediate success, propelling her into the public eye and positioning her as one of the young actresses who are most talked about in Hollywood.
Boyfriend was actor Kelly Black's, and before that she was like 15, so it seems safe to say that Blake's never seriously dated anyone who hasn't been in front of
Blake's. The separation with Kelly occurred around when she appeared in Gossip Girl, which paved the way for yet another love story with a co-star, but she took her time into a new partnership. It didn't require long before Penlay and she performed. Her on-screen romantic interest was discovered, themselves attracted to one another's. Perhaps the connection would have appeared inevitable in retrospect, but it didn't begin on their greatest moment together when Blake initially discovered that Penn was cast on. Her response to the show was far from greetings. Instead of being thrilled to collaborate with him, she worked diligently. She made an effort to influence to share her with the rest of the cast. Rejection, demonstrating that she was not happy with his inclusion in the series. Her opposition to him was ineffective, related to his acting prowess, but originated from her own sentiments regarding. He was interviewed at the time by In 2009, Blake publicly acknowledged that she had attempted to undermine Penn while he was initially featured in Gossip Girl. She didn't refrain from expressing how distressed she had been when he was hired, and the way decided that she would turn their co-stars oppose him before the shoot even begins. She had started by trying to distribute unfavorable remarks regarding him in the hopes that others might feel the same way she did, but her idea didn't exactly work out as she had hoped, had envisioned. Rather than battling to fit in, Penn immediately gained the cast's approval. With his laid-back demeanor and his inherent appeal demonstrated that he was a kind and amiable demeanor on set, making it challenging for anyone to maintain any resentment towards him, regardless of how Blake made a lot of effort to make him appear unlikable. She was rejected by her co-stars. Penn, on the other hand, was the opposite of what she had explained, and rather than taking advantage of her anger, they attracted to him.
You're going?
Dad never loved me the same way he loved Aaron.
Oh yeah, Dad.
When Aaron went off to be a priest or whatever, it was just Dad and me.
Confronted with this surprising development of incidents that Blake was forced to acknowledge that she had made an unfair decision, Penn was not as awful as she had portrayed him to be, and her first annoyance had lost because they spent more time working together. She progressively released the bitterness she had been harboring to what had begun as an effort to push him away, and she eventually thought she had completely miscalculated him. Rather than being an unwanted addition, Penn had emerged as a significant member of the cast. member of their group in spite of this difficult, starting their collaboration. Progressively, changed working long hours on the set, collaborating and performing an on-screen. Eventually, the couple eased Blake's position within a week or so of the filming. Their tension had subsided, and she happened to spot him in a entirely different lighting than the show became well known because to the relationship between. It became impossible to overlook both of them, off-screen and on-screen. What began as an refusal to acknowledge Penn as a member of the cast quickly developed into a profound bond quickly, the strain that had previously described their dynamic, but it changed, becoming something very new, establishing the framework for a romance that would draw the interest of fans of the Gossip Girl worldwide since the show's duties required them to spend lengthy hours spent together, and their bond gradually changed from a romantic on-screen relationship to something more intimate. During reports asserted that they began dating in, Blake was quick to deny this in 2007. She said that there were rumors that there is nothing romantic about their decision to maintain the privacy of their relationship, despite mounting conjecture in the early months in 2008 that she spoke about the rumors, outright dismissing them as miscommunications. She clarified that the media frequently misrepresented her close relationships with males, presuming that there additional information when there wasn't at the time. She seems intent on holding on to any information regarding her private life outside of the general public, but by May of the same year that she made an effort to keep secrecy broke out. She and Penn were on vacation in Mexico, were seen kissing each other, making it their romance cannot be denied in any way longer. The moment was recorded by paparazzi, verifying the information that fans and for months, the media had been speculating.
Was all the buzz at the casting call. Blake and Penn have been reportedly making their own buzz on the set of Gossip Girl. Reports say the two are hot and heavy and constantly all over each other between takes. Cameras even catching them canoodling at this low-profile event.
Now that the truth is public knowledge, the two could no longer conceal their relationship, and their efforts to maintain the covert operations had failed, and they were acknowledged as a couple by the government. Although at first they had attempted to maintain their romance apart from their public persona lives, their chemistry was apparent, demonstrated that their relationship had gone well beyond the screen following that incident in Mexico. Maintaining a covert relationship was no longer a choice for the general population. Conscious of Blake and Penn's romance, ceased attempting to conceal it, they made their first red carpet appearance. Couple's appearance at the Met Gala, July 2008, which marked the start of a fresh phase in their partnership. Over the following 2 years, they persisted in working together on Gossip while dating Girl, preserving equilibrium between their both personal and professional lives.
Remained at home with the kids, but it was date night for smoking hot duos Blake and Penn, the Seinfelds, Donald and Melania.
Fire hazard. This is Versace and then Lorraine Schwartz styling.
Nevertheless, by October 2010, according to rumors, they had broken. The news surprised up admirers, however. What was even more intriguing about it was the disclosure that their real separation had occurred far earlier, according to rumors that they had terminated their relationship prior to the end of the second season of the show ended. Rising during the month of May, despite their split, they managed the circumstance in a professional manner. They made the decision to keep their split quiet, to avoid any discomfort or stress on set because their characters were still passionately engaged in the program. They didn't wish for their private lives to disrupt their job by retaining the peaceful breakup. They made sure that the cast's dynamic remained untouched, permitting them to proceed playing their parts with no needless diversions, despite the fact that their Their romantic relationship had ended. Stayed dedicated to their job and stayed away from any public drama. Their capacity to disentangle their sentiments from their own permitted professional obligations them to keep a cordial and courteous association even after their separated after Blake's 2012 marriage. Penn said nothing in response to the news. Yet optimism, he conveyed his joy for her, demonstrating that there were no longer any animosities between them. Afterward, he considered how their relationship had affected him in surprising ways. He disclosed that Blake had assisted him in avoiding using drugs and alcohol as she did not partake in those activities herself. Her way of life had affected him in maintaining him on a more orderly course throughout their time spent together. Yet even though Penn talked kindly about their history, not everyone thought their split had been as easy as they had claimed. There were rumors that there had been more than what was involved in their breakup. Widely recognized at the time of their presentation, an adult and friendly frontrunner implied that behind-the-scenes activities, perhaps it was more complicated. As it happens, there were rumors that Blake had begun dating other men before to formally terminating her connection to Penn. One of the names, Ben Affleck, was mentioned a lot. Her role as her co-star in The Town, the character's former girlfriend. It is said that their relationship extended beyond the screen, raising rumors that there was a relationship between them. One of the things that happened during the filming, the rumors were fueled by Blake's practice of she frequently utilized the gesture of baking for Ben to establish ties with her romantic interests. She was supposed to bring homemade goods to set, which some people thought was her method of drawing nearer to him. Interactions off camera also increased. Eyebrows that the paparazzi were able to photograph. Times when they appeared to be more personal than one may anticipate. From co-stars, Ben furthermore had only good things to say about her in interviews. This merely increased the conjecture